This is the second video and a few comments on the State of the Nation address by the President. The President did admit that there are some massive and significant economic challenges lying ahead for South Africa, but he sounds quite optimistic that we will be able to address these challenges. Of course, the starting part of the speech of the President was pretty much on the vaccination process that can be expected over the next couple of months, and the President seems to be quite optimistic and positive about how successful his government is going to be in rolling that out. I'm far less optimistic on that specifically. The President also expects a very strong recovery in employment over the next couple of months, which I completely and totally disagree with. Most analysts disagree with that as well. Then the President referred again to the 500 billion stimulus package, which of course never was really a 500 billion stimulus package. But a little bit later on I will say a little bit more about that. But he talked about that as if it was one massive success. Of course it was not. The infrastructural program of the President apparently has 340 billion rand promises in the pipeline. I doubt that. What we've seen last year, for instance, is a huge fall and a total collapse in investments in South Africa and foreign direct investments as well. Again, the President is on his thing about new cities, modern cities, referring to one or two examples of modern, so-called modern cities, new millennium cities, which is mostly driven by the private sector. I do not believe that government can take any credit for that. The President also did mention that the 100 billion infrastructural fund is in full operation. That I believe is in conflict with the Minister of Finance. I don't believe the Minister of Finance will necessarily provide funding for all of that, but we'll have to wait and see for the budget of the Minister of Finance. The President made quite a big song and dance of the importance of all of us to buy locally. We have to buy locally to support local production in South Africa, because buying local will support the South African economy. At the same time, there are so many contradictions, like all sort of social and political requirements that businesses have to adhere to. And a very good example of that is the recent increase, a massive increase in the minimum wage. So why buy local when local is so highly unproductive because of legislation making it very difficult for business to actually produce productively in South Africa? Then of course, as expected, the President made a big thing about the investment, 16 billion rand investment of Ford, the motor manufacturing company. But the reason behind that is very easy to understand. It's because of massive subsidies to the motor industry in South Africa. Certainly there were some investments in South Africa, but many of these investments is not because people want to invest here, but simply because they get a huge subsidy for investing in South Africa. The good news certainly is that the President, without a doubt, recognizes that we have some significant economic challenges.